Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Elio, and we are here with the brilliant Victor from the band Alchemia. So welcome, Victor.
Hello, Al. Thank you for receiving me here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. Victor, could you introduce yourself and what you do within the Alchemia band?
Well, I am Victor Piroja. I am the lead singer. I am the composer of the songs in Alchemia.
Cool. So let's dive into some questions. Um, as a kid, what were you listening to?
Several stuff, my friend. Of course, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, the classics, the monsters of rock and roll, the Purple, and also
Yeah.
Metallica, Megadeth, and some classical music as well. Mozart, Bach,
Cool.
and
Cool.
Beethoven.
Cool. So, who actually got you into who actually got you into the music? Was it a family member or a friend, or was it some natural progression?
At the beginning, well, my my mother used to sing in the church in her early days, and we always had instruments in my house like keyboards and acoustic guitars, but anything about rock. And I had a few mates that started a band, started playing some Led Zeppelin and some classic rock, and they asked me to play with them, but they wanted me to be a bass player because nobody was playing bass. But I say no, I prefer to go to guitar, and after this guitar and some keyboards, and some years later, I decided to start singing by myself because I want to sing different stuff, and it was complicated for the guys that plays with me at the time.
Cool.
So
Cool.
I wanted to do different kinds of voices. At that time, I was really fascinated by Rob Halford. It, he's one of the kings of metal, of course. And I, I had two bands at the same time. I had something like 14 or 15 years old. And one band was, I was singing like Sepultura, really aggressive. And in the other band, I was singing more like Iron Maiden. And what I heard at that time is that I need to choose one style of voice because I will hurt myself and it will be almost impossible to do both. And at that time, I was starting to hear Merciful Fate by radio or by CDs, but we didn't have YouTube at that time, so I didn't have any videos of King Diamond singing. And I had the opportunity to see King Diamond in a festival called Monsters of Rock in São Paulo. I was raised my full time in my full life in Brazil. Now I'm living in Germany, and when I see King Diamond doing live, the both voices, the high pitch cleans and the aggressive drives, I say this is my dream. This is what I want to do. If he can do, I will do my best to learn how to do it. So after this, I was obsessed by King Diamond and several singers and tried to learn everything. I did an MBA of heavy voices in São Paulo years ago with focus in drive. And if you listen to Alchemia, King Diamond is one of my influences for sure. Rob Zombie, Rob Halford, and Bruce Dickinson, of course. So I learned a lot how to do this, and I love to do different kind of voices, different kind of textures. I'm not close to only one style, you know.
Yeah. Cool. So, was it Rob Halford and King Diamond actually was the main influence on you to become a musician?
Can you repeat the question? internet was not good.
Was it? Yeah. Was Rob Halford and King Diamond the main influences on you becoming a singer?
A lot, a lot, a lot. I remember when I heard Painkiller for the first time. Painkiller for me is the perfect definition of a metal album. If you want to introduce somebody to the metal world, you can show Painkiller. It's fast, it's aggressive, it's really hard to play any instruments inside that song, and the full album is beautiful. So was really a big influence for me, and of course King Diamond because of his versatility in the voice and the horror themes. Also, I am very passionate about horror movies since forever. So the classics, uh,
Yeah.
like like for me, the best horror movie ever is the Exorcist. And the songs inside horror movies are so important. The soundtrack for me is 50% of the movie is the soundtrack. So when I noticed this in Black
Oh
Sabbath
yes.
or in Merciful Fate, and of course Alice Cooper, it had a big impact on me. And I say I need to do something like this. And Alchemia is I, I put the name horror metal in Alchemia because I mix everything. I mix black metal, death metal, heavy metal, power metal, and even classical soundtracks and orchestration. So for me, the best way to to define Alchemia is so it's a mixture of several stuff. I I I put the name horror metal in this.
Yeah. Cool. 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 So what? You did mention you were in a couple of bands when you were younger. Were there any other bands before Alchemia?
Yes, yes, yes. I played. I think in 20 bands at least in different genres. I, all about heavy metal always. I had some tributes like Iron Maiden tribute, Judas Priest tribute, Blind Guardian tribute. As a singer, or a guitar player, or a keyboard player, I had an outro band called Sunset Midnight. It was a gothic band 20 years ago already. And Alchemia is quite a new band. We have only 6 years, but the full team had
Mm.
a lot of experience in music, and this was the first time that I said I want to create something from zero but with full control. So I composed all of the songs for the first album that you heard from Inception. I create 104 songs. After this I put the, the, the full team together with me, the musicians, and say let's vote in the best 10 songs, and we will go and increase these songs in a proper studio. So I made all the compositions in my home studio, the drums, the orchestras, the voices, the guitars, the bass. I play by myself, all. And after this, I reach the musicians that I would like to work and say to them, I want to be a band with you guys. I want to form a proper band with you guys. So they're free to put their own ideas and to develop even more with their influences also. But the main skeleton is this. And is the same subject in the music and in the visual of the band also. That's the reason we wear makeup and special clothing live.
Cool. 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 So, what has the band been up to, especially over the last couple of years?
Mm-hmm. We do a touring in Europe. We play in Germany, Poland, Netherlands, and Belgium. We play in some countries in Latin America, in Brazil, of course, and Argentina. And next year in April, we will play in the Summer Breeze Festival, the Brazilian version of Summer Breeze. It's quite new. The first edition was in this year. The second edition will be 2024. And we will play in the same day that King Diamond.
Cool.
So it will
Cool.
be really, really special. for me because he's one of my heroes. We play with King Diamond and Sebastian Bach, Mr. Big, and several other bands.
Wow, cool. Cool. Is there is there any? Are you writing any new material for possibly a new album or even an EP?
Yeah. We are working at this moment in the second album. The idea is to launch in the middle of the next year. We already had 60 new songs, so we're voting and refining the best.
Oh,
But
cool.
it will
Cool.
be darker, faster, and more heavier than the first album. And the second album will be called Become Human.
Oh, cool. Is there any plans on? Are you in the development stage of the writing, or are you like in the process of like ready to go into the studio to record the second album?
I'm working in the pre-production. The compositions are done, but I am what I like to do is I heard everything again and starting to put in the makeup, and the refining the tiny details. And sometimes I get a song and put it away and say no, I started something by zero again. So I am in this moment right now,
Oh,
and we have 60 already done too. So it's a lot of new emotions. The pandemic was really interesting because we launched the album in the pandemic, and after this we had a problem because it was impossible to tour. So it was really hard for us. We launched the album in 2021 via Wormhole Death Records, a label from Italy. We launched in Europe, in Japan, and in US, and in Brazil also, as an edition with a Brazilian label. But it was really a good time because we had plenty of time during the pandemic and a lot of different emotions. You cannot be outside. In Brazil, it was really complicated because the coronavirus was really heavy at the time around there, and we cannot rehearse with the band together. So we learned how to work via internet, and everybody has the same feeling in every country, in every place. So you know how it was for you. So
yeah.
it was good because I had so much time to develop new songs. But right now, after the pandemic, the emotions are different. So I'm getting some stuff of that time. I'm putting new stuff together and mixing to get the best of all of the times.
Cool. Cool. Is there any sort of like dates? Have you got like sort of like a date set in your mind to when you sort of like finally get the the second album recorded? Have you got any sort of like date in mind for it to be released?
Dates, I'm thinking in the middle of the year
Middle of the
because
year.
my plan is to do an European tour in June. So the plan is to launch for the European tour.
Cool, cool. So, are you? I know you want to do sort of like sort of like a European tour. Is there any plans sort of like going to like the UK or over to say US and Canada or even down to South Africa to do
For
tours?
UK, yes, for the next year. US, I believe only in 2025, and Canada. South Africa would be another step for us in the future. It it depends on the promotion of the record label and also to find the promoters around there.
Cool, cool, cool. So, can we just go back to like the first album, Inception?
Mhm.
Could you tell us a little bit about that so people can basically go and find the album so we can get an idea of what the overall sound of Alchemia can overall sound of in Alchemia. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Inception was a big effort, a big effort, especially for me. It took 3 years since the beginning of the composition until the final masters, and it took a lot of time because I created more than 100 songs for this album with a lot of time. And the best advice that I gave to any musician is record in your house so you can try everything. You can risk everything, especially starting as an independent artist, because at that time I didn't have the record label supporting us. So I did everything alone by myself and try a lot of new stuff. And what was complicated for us is when I finished the album and we do the proper recording in the professional studio, was complicated for me because I have, like, the song Save Us. I put 64 channels of orchestration. So was a big challenge for us. On first hand, we work with digital orchestras. It's not real orchestras, but today the quality is really good. So I hire an engineer from UK called John Phipps. He's specialized in orchestra for heavy metal, and bring all the songs to him and say, John, help me to check if everything that is here is possible to be played for a human being. Because when you can become crazy composing everything. So you put the violas, the cellos, the tumbas, the metals, the everything together, and I don't play everything. I play guitars, I play keyboards, I play drums, and I sing, but I didn't play violin or cellos. I know the sounds that I like to hear, and I understand the classical music, but I wasn't sure if this note really exists in a viola. So I bring everything to him and say, John, help me to develop the song. And if you have any of your own ideas or inputs, please feel free to deliver a better quality. And when you invest in digital orchestration, you buy the samples. It's audios that real people play, but you control by the keyboard. You control the intensity, you control everything. But John has more quality of samples than me. So you can buy samples for £200 and you can have samples for £1,000. And John works with big bands like Moonspell or Cradle of Field. So he's very skilled and he knows everybody. His website is orchestrametal.com. He's really, really good in arranging orchestras. And he saved me, in fact, because he says, this makes sense. This is a little bit too much. This will be impossible for a human being to play. So let's work together. And after this, what was my next challenge? To find a good audio engineer that could do the mix and master of this kind of music, because we usually find a good guy specialized in heavy metal or a good guy that knows everything about the orchestra. But to find a guy that could do both, that could understand the full world and understand the metal world, was really tricky. So I researched a lot and I found Two Madsen in Denmark. And Two Madsen is the guy, is a genius. He works with Rob Halford, Baby Metal, Ectomorph, and dozens of metal bands. And he knows very well how to do orchestration also. So I reached him and said, I am not a big guy. I don't have a big label with me, but I need you. I really need you because it's impossible to do this kind of thing. And he said to me, send me your stuff. If I like, we can develop something together and we can develop the project. And it works amazing. He really enjoyed the songs and he made a brilliant work. So I'm really proud of the production of Inception album. The quality is pristine. And for me, this was really a key thing because I do by myself alone as an independent artist, and I say I don't have the big budget, I don't have the record labels, I don't have everything, but I want to work like if I have. So it will take more time to get the funds to work on everything, But after this, when I received the final masters in my hand, I say, okay, we have a very good first album. And after this, I reached some record labels and we received a good proposal at that time of Von Haldef from Italy. The guy heard the album and say, we want to work together for sure. And 1 year ago, I decided to come to Germany because living in Europe is easier to develop the band here also, because Europe is one of our key markets for develop Alchemia.
Yeah, I was going to say, Europe as a whole is sort of like a massive market for sort of like rock and metal, because
Yes,
there's a huge um, amount of fans here in Europe.
it's massive. It's massive. We went to visit Summer Breeze, Germany last year. This year, it's almost last year. Was amazing, amazing. The audio quality, the quality of the bands, and thousands of fans, and you have hundreds of festivals per year in Europe. So it has a great potential for us, and this is our main target at the moment: to develop Germany, to develop Finland, to develop UK, to develop Italy, France, Spain, Portugal.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Cool. My next question is, where can people find you on social media, like such
Mm-hmm.
as like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, that type of thing, or even on and on sort of like streaming services?
Yeah, if you go to our website alchemiaband.com, you have the links of all of social medias. We are on every social media, on Instagram, Facebook. It's Alchemia Band Official. We are also in all of the streaming platforms. We are in 154 streaming platforms. It's massive. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you can hear Alchemia. Inception is the name of the album. You can hear us everywhere.
yeah. I have put your Facebook and I believe um, your website in the description below. So if anybody wants to check out Alchemia, your best bet is to go to Alchemia's website.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yes, alchemiaband.com.
Cool. Yeah. So this is going to be my last question. Any advice for people who want to become a musician?
It's a crazy word. I I think you don't want to become a musician. The music finds you. It's something that we are so passionate, and I believe it's the same from every of my fellow musicians and friends. It's something that it's not something rational, you know. It's like, especially in heavy metal, we love that stuff. It's not about money. It's time consuming. It's expensive. It's crazy, but it's something that we love so much that we put our soul and hearts and efforts and everything in. It's not something that we say the music will choose you, the music will find you, and you will be crazy and in love for music, especially in rock and roll world. And it's fascinating because it's like a big family. You went to any concert, a tiny concert or a big concert, a big arena concert. Everybody is smiling and happy and feeling the energy. The energy life is so good. And something that a musician must do is develop your skills, try to listen to everything, not be open-minded, so close. Everything inside rock and roll world. Of course, if you want to work in the technical side, it's important to listen to jazz, to other stuffs, for sure, to other genres, to learn more and to develop your skills. But listen music and be passionate about music and don't give up. And work on composition, create your stuff and do a lot, and you will be more skilled, and it will be more easier, but never give up.
Sound advice. Sound advice. So, Victor, it's just like sort of like start wrapping things up now. So, any other final words before we sort of like sign off?
Well, we are right now really keen in the second album. We want to share as soon as possible with everybody. It will be faster, darker, with more orchestras, with more metal. It will be really, really special, and I hope you guys can listen to our songs, and I hope to meet you guys in person in UK very soon. UK, Canada, US, South Africa, everywhere. We want to play everywhere as possible, and we're doing our best.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. I can't wait for you to come over to the UK and actually see you perform live.
For sure, for sure. We really, it will be a dream to play in UK, because it's the beginning of metal. You know, for me the beginning of metal is Black Sabbath. Is
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah.
It's Tony Iommi, Ozzy Osbourne. So it
Yeah.
would be a dream come true to play there.
Yeah. It will. Yeah. It will. It will. I know there's been quite a lot of bands who've come from basically all over the world to play the UK. Especially to fans of like Judas Priest or Black Sabbath or Maiden, Motorhead, bands such as that.
Yeah, you
So
have everything. You have even Beatles and Rolling Stones. Come on, it's everything.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
the soul of rock and roll.
yeah. So
And Queen.
yeah, Queen. There's so many brilliant bands
So
that
many
came
good
from the
stuff.
UK.
Yes. It's crazy.
So many good bands.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's when you come to think of it, when you literally come to think, actually sit down and actually think at how many bands have basically come from the UK who've
Yeah.
had such a massive impact on different musicians over the years, whether it be sort of like the Who, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Queen, going all the way through to the present day.
It's
So
amazing. Yeah, yeah. The quality
yeah,
of of the musicians, the quality of the songs, and the times was so. It's brilliant.
yeah, it is, it is, it is. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, let's wrap things up. Victor, thank you so much for coming on and doing this interview. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy to participate on this.
Yeah, my pleasure, and thank you for coming on. So yeah, so guys, go check out Alchemia on on their social media. They are absolutely a brilliant band. So go check them out. You won't be disappointed. You won't be disappointed at all. So go check them out, guys. So again, Victor, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, my brother. Hope to see you in person really soon.